This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
Hello and welcome to episode 35 of Too Old to Game. I'm your fear-filled host, Dave Oster. I'm joined today by the Mark Weber.
What's up, Demis?
And the original man-child himself, Ricky Widmer.
What's up, guys?
Nice and full podcast again. This is kind of nice. I'm getting used to this. This week we've got some great shit for you, though. We're talking some MLB video games because, that will be acknowledged that, hey, maybe the season is too long. So let's just give you the good stuff out of the season with their March to October feature. And we'll hit that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the Xbox going discless for the next gen or pre-next gen, but then potentially as a post-next gen also release. So
it's like the half step.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. So we've got a ton here, but before we get into it, if you could check us out on iTunes and rate us 5 stars, that would be amazing. It helps us grow. It helps us keep going. We really appreciate it. We love to get the feedback from you. And if you want to go that extra step, you could check us out on Patreon, and you can join us if you hit that $10 tier. The other tiers are also going to be filled with awesome stuff, so check it out. We love the support, and if you can do it, we love you too. But let's get into it, boys. MLB March to October. When I saw this, I'm just going to give you the honest reaction was, meh. I was like, March to October, sure. Like, it's a baseball game, whatever, But this feature, I watched the 47-minute preview that you shot me, Ricky. Great call on that one. And what I got out of that was they're admitting baseball's too long. Nobody cares. And we're going to give you the key moments of the season. And those key moments will propel the chances of you making the playoffs. And the ultimate goal is to go from March to October. Obviously, as the title says, I think it's an awesome concept. I actually really like what they're doing, and I really enjoy the level of care that went into each team because you get your own specified trailer. They cater it to your market. It's very cool. It's very personal. I think they did a great job with that kind of storytelling.
Well, the thing I like the most, first off, the thing I like the most about it is I'm interested to see the rewards thing that they have. Where based on if you do it on rookie, veteran, legend, or Hall of Fame, you get different rewards if you win the World Series.
Right.
And also it's like, it gives me a way to be like, okay, I can pick the Cubs and not feel, because usually in a franchise I want to pick a bad team
and
turn
rebuild
them around.
Yeah.
Usually it's the Marlins because they're always bad and Derek Jeter's not doing a good job. But now I feel like it's like with this narrative, it's like, okay, maybe you want to pick your own team, or is this just one where it's like the favorites, Yankees, Astros, Nationals, Cubs? Are those teams going to be like, no, screw those teams. I want the long shots. I want the ones that are going to be like projected win 68, and I'm going to be, you're counting me out, but I'm going to win those games to go on some hot streaks and gain some momentum.
Here's the thing I wonder. I think this is awesome because I've always said baseball too long of a season, just like Dave said. I really think anything over 16 games is too much. I like football, and I'm a Chicago fan, so I'm used to 16 games.
There you go.
Hey, man, this year you got one too many. You're like, oh, I should have had
this
that
season
one.
got long. But, no, I love football. I mean, I used to play Madden in college, and I could go through a whole season in basically a day. Baseball, even though I love MLB The Show, MLB The Show 100% is the best baseball game.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no question about it. There's no other competitor. The show is the best. What I wonder about, though, is how much of this story mode is really going to be the real deal and how much of it's going to be hyped. I'm going to come to what you're talking about and what you had on your screen a moment ago with the favorites, contenders, something.
Underdogs
and long shots.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the Chicago White Sox, right? So that's a long shot. Does that mean if I play as my team, I am on a harder difficulty than you're going to play on your team as the Cubs?
I mean, not like, I don't think necessarily, because it's like the thing, and this will be the interesting part of it, so you're playing key games, and let's say, like, so the first one, the video that I sent you guys that I found from IGN, where they did a 47 kind of playthrough, the first 47 minutes of it, they picked the Diamondbacks, 'cause that was the guy's favorite team. And you play the first game because that's your first key moment. he won that game. Now, you're not playing the full game. You jump in like mid to late innings. So between 4 and 6, that's where you're jumping into the game. He won that, and then his team started off 7-0. Now, the Diamondbacks are underdogs. So it's like, he even says, like, wow, 7-0, that is not realistic.
Point, though. And it's not because the Diamondbacks.
They're plucky.
My point is, if your players are worse, you are on a harder difficulty.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for me as a White Sox fan, I might never truly get to enjoy this experience.
Well, it depends on how good you are at the game and what difficulty you're on.
It's kind of, sort of, I mean, you're right on that. But my thought is, do I want to go the cheap way and say, let me just put it on easy? So that way I can
if you want to put it on
win a World
rookie,
Series.
you can.
I think if you had any experience playing the game, you might want to start off on easy just to gauge that first season. And then once you know, maybe from there you might turn up. Right, you're locked in the whole season.
But the other thing, that I'm going towards as well, and maybe this is in there somewhere, and I haven't played the show in a while. I think the last one I had was 16. So it's been a little bit. But I love the franchise experience. I love being able to trade my players.
Yep.
I love making the decisions. For this, I like the way they have it structured where I don't have to dedicate 162 games or exactly what they say in the beginning of IGN's video of sim. Oh, but that didn't really go very well because my team's not that great. Or like, my team's really good. Why did we just lose 6 of the last 10 games?
Exactly.
So what I wonder is, like, if I can't do the franchise things I like to do, but I have, this better mode for me, for my play style, because this would totally be better for my play style.
Yeah.
I want them meshed. I want to still be able to play the moments, but at the same time, I still want to be able to trade people.
Make
for
the roster
White Sox.
moves.
Make the White Sox a better team, one. And then two, going further into franchise, and I don't know the answer to this question. Let's say I win or lose my World Series, or I just don't even make it. Can I play season 2?
See, and that's my biggest question that I don't know about this mode is...
I imagine you can't because you're not the GM.
It's a one and done.
And it's a March to October. And for me, I feel like if you, let's say, pick the White Sox, who's a long shot, you don't win the World Series, all right, let me try again. It's almost like that kind of, in that case, that, let me do it. But once you do it, it's like... all right.
Now what?
That was cool. Unless you are that person that's like, I want to do it with all 30 teams and I want to get the experience and see all the different cutscenes. That's cool. But like for me, I play franchise like this. And this is a thing too of like, it depends on what kind of a gamer you are. I was listening to actually kind of funny, a different podcast where they were talking about Anthem and stuff. And it's like, I may not like Anthem because that's not the game I go for.
The style.
But you might because it might be your style. Same thing with this. How do you play the modes? And I already play franchise like this. I pick a team.
And that's why this would be an awesome mode for me.
I sim into, like, I play opening day because I like playing opening day. Then I sim to certain matchups, or I sim to, like, late in the year where it's like, okay, I need to win this series to make that playoff, or to get into the playoffs. I'm going to play these. Or like, ooh, I like this pitcher matchup. Fuck it. I'm going to play this. Or I want to play the Cubs Sox series because I like that. But then I know there's a year 2, and then I can trade the players, build, and it's like, I don't win the World Series. That's great. I have year 2, year 3 to do free agency in the whole offseason.
Well, I think that's the thing that gives me the idea of replayability is that it's just one season. I'm like, okay, so if I can do it season 1, I might not take the White Sox the first time because maybe I'm just like, let me put myself as a middling team. Give me one of those, and let me run through it. If I beat it on, easy, then I'm like, all right, cool. That was a fun experience. Let me see it from a different team's perspective. Let me notch it up a difficulty. And what was this prize I got? Now I've got a different skin for something. I've got something else I can do. Like, I think that's where it comes from. I, as a fan of baseball, they do say it's so regional specific, but like I would be interested to see like what is the storyline for a team not from my city? Because I know the White Sox like through and through, but like would I like to know what it's like for the Oakland Athletics to make a run?
I have a fear though that we are we're getting the talk.
Yeah.
But we're not going to get the game.
You think it's going to be the same exact?
It's going to be the exact same thing,
As
but
Anthem?
instead not as
okay.
Anthem. But
no, like storyline-wise.
the difference between the White Sox and the Cubs is going to be north side, south side. And that's the only difference. And that's I'm exaggerating, obviously. But like they're just going to have the key buzzwords. It reminds me of NCAA when they made a big deal of we're going to have all the traditions and everything from all the teams.
Yep.
And it was just like an intro, cinematic where they touched a rock or they touched a wall or they ran out.
We slapped our poster, though.
Yeah, or there was a dog. It was just like one thing that made a difference. And this seems like it will have more, but I kind of wonder, like, is it just going to be these 5 things throughout? And then no matter what team you are, when you get to the playoffs, it's no one expected this team to get in, or everybody expected this team to get in, and it said almost exactly the same, because that's what a sports game is. The sports game is just the code is written to plug and play certain things depending on other things that have happened. So this actually is down on it as I sound, just only because I think it's not where it should be, would be my guess. I'm excited for this next year.
After it's like,
After
here's
they
the
figured
first
it
one.
out.
What do we have to change? What tweaks do we have to do?
Exactly. That, I think, is going to turn into something cool. It does make me interested in playing the show again. I haven't played the show since, I think, like I said, 15 or 16 was the last one I had. Makes me kind of want to buy the show again. And the show really always was that really exciting game because it was like, in Chicago, it was like, hey, it's springtime. I'm going to go get the show.
I mean, before the show, too, it was MVP Baseball. I know it was EA, but MVP Baseball was the jam, and then it kind of went over into San Diego Studios, and the show kind of took over.
So if they eventually combine this in, I think that's going to be awesome.
Oh, that'd be so cool. I absolutely agree with you. I think that taking the aspects of storytelling plus the customization of truly making that team your own, that's a marriage made in heaven.
Right. And I don't know how difficult it would really be to do that. So, like, I'm okay with losing some of the story stuff if you let me, like, just skip and play franchise. Like that, just make a franchise
Don't
experience.
give me shitty sim experiences.
Yeah.
That's really what we're asking for.
Give me a more realistic franchise experience that doesn't have to take a year.
Yeah.
And I'm down. I mean, Madden's tried to do that with their Moments version in franchise. It doesn't really work very well. You're like, I'm only going to play offense. Why am I playing defense all of a sudden?
Yeah.
And things like that. So everybody's still working on it. They're still going in the right direction. So I think this is awesome for sports games in general because they all see what everyone else is doing that works, and they all steal from each other.
Well, that's the thing is it's such a time sink. Like if you're a baseball fan and you love the show, like I don't think I've ever met anyone who's actually played through a 152 game season in their game. I mean, Ricky, I know you're one of the more dedicated people I know.
I did once.
You did. You actually played a 152 game.
I did.
How many hours did that take?
Well, this was when I was in college, when I was just able to play. Like this is when I would, and the reason why I did it was this was when I was like I could just stay up from 12 to 4 in the morning and just stream on our Twitch page.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna play a series tonight, and I would just play a series. The thing I hated about it was I was too good at the difficulty. And the Cubs, like the moves I made, we were so stacked to where it's like I started 12-0.
Yep.
And I was like, all right. And then it was like, oh, I'm 30-2. Oh, this ain't fun.
Yeah.
Like this is not realistic.
It reminds me of playing NHL, and I had and I would like I think I would do my player mostly though, but I ended up on the Devils, and like. We kicked ass. I had the difficulty a little bit too low. So we kicked ass, and like we lost, I think, like 8 games in a season. And it was like, probably should turn the difficulty level up a little bit, but I'm having a lot of fun. So now, I don't know.
That's as long as the majority of people have fun, that they did a good job.
Yeah.
Here's the only thing out of like what I've seen with the gameplay that made me go, and I'll be honest, it's never been a huge
I see it on your screen, and I'm happy you're mentioning
it. It hasn't been a huge strength of MLB The Show, but it's because they've never needed it to be a huge strength of the show. Is you look at the reporter, I believe it's Heidi Watney, who's the reporter. I looked at her hair, I'm like, that's the best we're gonna make her look.
Yeah, she does not look
Like
good.
she does not look good, and I always knew that hair, whether facial
Did you see Zach
or
Greinke in there?
hair,
It looked horrid.
No, like the hair has never been good
Yeah.
on the show.
Yep.
But I've never cared. But when you actually see like
They're
an
wearing
actual
hats and
female
helmets. Yeah, you don't care.
reporter in the game, you would think that you would make her hair not look all stringy and basically shitty. I'll say.
Yeah.
Like it looked like I saw that and I went,
yeah, it looks rough.
Oh God. I feel sorry
Well,
for
it's
her.
not even just
because
the
in real
hair.
life she's gorgeous. God, in real life she's gorgeous.
old
It's
man.
not
In the
even-
game,
it's not even
she's
the
like
hair,
well,
though.
we're too
Just
old
like
the game.
her whole face
She
and
looks
everything.
old.
Yeah, they did not do a good job of making her look
And
realistic
like,
at all.
I don't know if you've seen like what because I've never heard of her before.
I
this.
haven't
like,
either.
She's gorgeous in
Heidi,
real person.
what was her last name?
Yeah, I mean, you're showing her in motion cap.
Watney.
Watney. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, she's very beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the hair. Yeah.
Completely different from how she looks in game.
Yeah.
You know what that kind of reminds me of, though, is I'm going to go back to NCAA again because it's the
That was the pinnacle.
yeah, it was the best sports game ever.
Bring it back.
They need to, but remember one of the first story modes. Well, I shouldn't say. One of the times they tried to make it more story for my player. They had Aaron Andrews talking about different player. Like you would play in your high school team and then you would go sign for Tulane and she would be like, it was pretty surprising that this great player went to Tulane. Like she would talk shit. Or she'd be like, he's going to play at the Ohio State, which is awesome, whatever. Yeah, they're hot shots or something like that.
Yeah.
That's what they call
Road to glory.
Road to Glory. Wow, it's NCAA 10. But anyways, and it always was like, it felt so fake. It felt so forced. It really didn't
but
work.
at least it actually was Aaron Andrews.
Yeah, but that's not what my point is. My point is just like, it was a good try. It just didn't work.
They did the same
and that's
thing
what I kind of
with,
fear a little bit that they'll have happen with the story type of stuff. Good idea, just doesn't work. Just give me the fast forward.
Yeah.
Well, they did the same thing in Madden with, that's what it was, the extra point. Where
That was a failure.
they
too.
had the same thing where it was like,
And that was Madden 10. It was the
hey,
same time.
we're going to have this show that you could watch in between where it was Fran Charles, and then you could go between them, and it was just him talking about the week, and it's like,
They didn't realize
all right,
nobody
I don't
cared.
need this. And then
Like,
Alex
nobody
Flanagan
cares.
talking about it, and you can actually see them, and it's like, okay.
You're here to play the game.
Like, the only time I thought something like that was cool was the ESPN, 2K1.
Yeah.
Because in between, it was SportsCenter, just SportsCenter with an animated Chris Berman, and it was fucking Chris Berman. You got the whoops and everything. That shit was great to watch. This was just one time, all right, that's cool. And then I never did it again because
And
it
you
was
skip it. No.
okay.
Well, they still even in Madden have the guy talking during halftime, and you're like, hold X to skip.
Yep.
Let me get past this. I don't know why you're making me skip it all the
Or
time.
before the game.
Yeah. Hold X to skip.
Let's be honest, I just turn announcers off.
That's a good way to do it.
I just
really.
turn the nothing against them. I just could care less.
You're there to play the game. I
Yeah.
don't care about the rest of the stuff.
So the ideal sports game for you is a streamlined, controlling way, but you can also skip forward through shit you don't actually want to deal with.
Exactly. Give me
You want-
full on control.
I'm good with that. I mean, look, a streamlined experience. That's the point I was trying to make earlier with the 152 game season. It's who has time to play a game that much? Now games are there's so many choices available, and everything puts you into games so quickly that it's if you're not constantly doing something in the game, you've lost my attention.
Yeah.
Well,
we are entering that point in time where the attention span, there's just so much available that you're constantly fighting for that free time.
And that's a good thing about this
Yes.
mode because
March to October.
The people that feel that way can do that, but also the diehards that are screw it, I want that franchise and I'm going to play most of the games.
Yep.
They can still have their cake and eat it too.
Exactly. And I'm correct me if I'm wrong. Baseball's 162.
Yeah, 60.
I'm not being a
Thank
dick.
you.
Dave's
when
like-
Dave said it, I'm
Dave-
like, Dave might
Dave-
be right.
I keep naming numbers.
You
and
just
I
said,
don't
you
care.
kept saying it, and I was like, he might be right.
No.
I'm like, I don't
152?
think he's right,
It's
but I
too
just let him
goddamn
have
many.
it.
Yeah, it
Mark,
is.
we're on a gaming podcast. Nobody's going to care about that.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
watch somebody that's like an actual sports fan gamer is like, no, I care.
Yeah.
Hey, well, when we were doing
I've been in
gaming
this-
stuff, the most gaming fans we had were baseball fans. So.
I've been in this room for like 4.5 hours to this point, coming off of another podcast. So my numbers are not exactly spot on. But any final thoughts on this feature or the gaming in general of sports games?
I'm intrigued to try it, but then I'll go
definitely.
right back to my franchise. Unless it's like the rewards are really cool to where I want to do it with all 30 to get ultra rewards.
I don't think anyone should expect that I mean, when they say rewards, it's like, what rewards?
There's like a bat skin.
Right, exactly. Like, this doesn't... No one's going to care.
There's
You know
people
what
that are
You
gonna
know what
care.
it tells you, or it tells me? Microtransactions. That's what it tells me. They're setting it
Well,
up.
no, they already have.
It's already there, yeah.
They've got
They've already
packs.
got them too?
Yeah, they've got.
Damn.
They had it before. You've got the packs where you can buy the cards for
can't
Diamond
escape.
Dynasty.
Well,
They've always
no,
had that.
I'm thinking more of like the skins and stuff like that.
No, they'll
If
probably
they're going to try and
like,
sell that to us
No,
now.
you unlock those in like different challenges and
Yeah.
stuff, and like
Oh,
Diamond
I'm-
Dynasty and stuff.
Great. Wonderful. More microtransactions. That's what we
I
need.
mean, it's always been there. It's not a shock to me.
There you go.
I just want it to go away.
It's never going
It's
away.
never. However,
Never,
you can
Mark.
make money.
Absolutely. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
And I do.
Exactly.
I do.
Exactly. But as far as hating games, apparently Xbox hates physical games. They're all about that discless game setup, which I think is a great idea. But the question is, do you think it's practical? And obviously, there's a cost savings included that we're expecting. They're aiming somewhere around that $199, $200 range for this rumored discless Xbox One X. In theory, great idea. You know, terabyte hard drive, whatever in that range, should be solid. But do you think it is? Do you think it's something that can succeed solely there? Because I think that what they have with the Xbox Game Pass is unique and has pulled in a lot more people than anyone ever expected.
So they're going to have a price decrease with this too?
Yeah, they're aiming to come into the market lower than the price of the normal Xbox One X.
How long is the One S, I guess, or One X, whatever it is now? How long has this been out?
I should probably look up these things. But,
Xbox One has been out for like 5-6 years, something like that by now.
Let's see.
Right?
Xbox One.
I asked this because they're making...
2016
Oh, okay.
August.
Yep.
So a
So
little
3
less,
years.
a little less than I was thinking. Okay, so I guess that makes sense. I was gonna say, like,
The One X was in 2017 of November.
if this thing had been out for a while, I'm like, we're advertising a price drop, but it should just, like, most people just have the console already, so it should be cheap. Like, it should be cheaper by now, right?
But this is how you get to spread to those people who
is
get that
marketing.
Game Pass and who maybe got to experience a little bit on their Windows computer with the Microsoft Store and that shared crossplay. And now you're like, oh, I can get kind of like that, but also have like the availability for all those other great Xbox games. I think it's a marketing genius move. I'm just worried it will fall flat on its face because, like you said, it's been out for a long time. How many people are there in that available market? Can you convince PlayStation players? They're like, oh, well, I don't want to invest, $300 in a bundle or whatever. But if I can get this for fairly cheap, pay, the $15 a month, and after 3 months, I'm feeling pretty good.
See, I don't see it as like because how I feel is like if you're already on one side or the other,
Yeah.
unless something happens to where you're like, screw you, you're not changing. Like usually people are set in their ways where it's like, I'm PlayStation through and through.
Yeah.
The thing for me that this says is this where the industry is ultimately headed, where physical is going to be no more. We're like, when we buy games in the future, it's not going to be, all right, go to Amazon and order the physical copy. It's going to be like, okay, go to Amazon and order your download code.
Yeah.
And order the digital, where you can do that
You
already.
go through your system.
But that would be the only thing. You could do it on Amazon too.
I know.
You can buy
I'm just
games.
saying,
Yeah,
like,
but
why
you
would you
can
go to
do-
Amazon when you can just use your actual system to push a button?
Because you don't want to put your credit card information in.
You're like mandatory have to almost at this point. But I mean, it's going the same, like all media is going that way. Like books, newspapers,
Yeah.
like all of the old is now digitalized. And books still exist. Physical copies of books still exist. And I would argue that, at times there are little mini renaissances for them when there are great releases of books. So I feel like, yeah, it's going to be the same thing for video games. You're going to see the dip, and then, like, if there's an amazing game that has a special edition release with, you know, maybe a book for art for it or something else, like something that truly sets it apart, then that will sell physically very well. But I think the majority of things we're aiming at are going digital.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the thing I was thinking about is think about your life personally. How digital is your life already? And I thought about it and I was like, oh shit, my life is except for my gaming where I still get physical copies. Most of my stuff is digital. When I take notes and anything, it's usually on my phone, on my iPad, on my computer. Google Docs is my best friend.
Yep.
I don't have, like, it used to be, okay, I got my little notepad and I'm writing here. Now it's like, oh, let me open up a Google sheet and start typing in there to where almost all of my stuff is digital and, oh, it's on the cloud.
Yeah.
It's on the cloud and it's up there.
I actually oftentimes will do the digital route, and then depending on how much I like it, then I go back and buy a physical copy. I do that with...
Is it a collector thing, though?
It is. It's a collector thing. I do that with books. I do that... I don't really do that with games, but I do it with books. I do it with
you just like
with
seeing
albums.
it on the shelf. If
That's
it's
like
really
music
good.
is almost entirely.
Music is the big one, where it's like... I'll buy it on iTunes, maybe, or just listen to it on Spotify or something like that.
Yeah.
And as a musician, I shouldn't say that I do that. And then I'll be like, "This is an awesome record. I'm gonna go buy it."
Buy Mark.
And now
Plug Mark. Plug.
Mark's gonna plug your CD.
Go check out my shit. You can find it on Spotify and that stuff, which I just said you shouldn't do. Lennox Park or Mark Webber. But the big thing is for me is like I love having the physical and. Books are an interesting one, and I'm glad you brought it up. So books are an interesting one because it's very split demographically.
Yeah.
The younger demographic will pretty much have Kindles and stuff like that until you hit a certain age of youngness where they have physical books. And the reason is because the old demographic are the ones buying the youngest demographic, the books. So you have this weird sandwich for it. And that's the thing with video games, too. A lot of the older demographic are not going to be as willing to buy the just digital game. They don't know how to do it.
Yeah, but eventually as that ages out,
but that's
we'll
where
go all
I
digital.
wonder, is this too early? You know, have we gotten this too early? Or is this
our
a
3D
nice
TV?
first step? Yeah, is this a 3D TV, which was a huge
Or is
waste?
our VR gear, where it feels, you know, it's still very cutting edge, even though it's been out for a couple of years. We're still not at that polished state yet.
Because go ahead.
I think, Ricky, when you mentioned, you know, people are very much divided on the I've been a PlayStation person forever. You have to think about the families, and that's where the money comes from for these companies. And I know many households growing up had both sides of that.
Yeah.
You know, you want to get one for the one, and you get the other for the other. Well,
Yeah,
my
but I
friend's
mean,
playing over here, now they're over here.
Even nowadays, like, because the economy and we're in the U.S., the economy is so different. I mean, I was kind of thinking, like, there are households where there are kids that, like, get a Wii U, and it's like they're so excited to get it, and it's like, wait, why? But the Switch is out. But it's like some of those families are like, well, this is a game. I don't, like, it's cheaper than the rest, and they buy that, and the kids are still excited for it. I just feel like it's... we don't have as much. I feel like money is a big thing now.
Really?
Back in the day, it was like, oh, we've got it. The economy is a little better. Now I feel like things are.
I'm pretty sure games, when you count in inflation, actually are cheaper today than they were before.
Cheaper now, but like it's because like our economy is. Am I wrong?
No,
It's
inflation.
It's inflation.
Okay.
Prices. It's
Because
cheaper
think about it, we're
to
still
afford it
paying
now.
$60 for a game. That's the same price we were paying 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
when
years
we
before
were
that,
kids, we were paying $50 for a game.
exactly.
You know, when we were very young.
But is the digital going to make them now 40?
It hasn't.
No,
It
you
hasn't.
can't. And that's the thing. That's the thing with books. That's the thing with music. Like, you're sacrificing, you're saying that it should cost less because there's no physical work being done, but the work is still being put into the game.
Yeah.
Why should the back end people take a cut?
It's also the fact that it hasn't. We have digital games.
Yeah.
They still cost just as much. I actually filled
Steam
out...
Store.
Steam's a little different because of sales. And Humble Bundle's different, you know, because they are geared towards the
Right, but that's
the
pure
sale.
I know a lot of very popular games there are purely digital, you know?
Yeah.
And they're still marketed at the same exact rates.
Exactly. But yeah, like if you go to the Switch's eStore or PlayStation Store, whatever Microsoft Store is called,
Microsoft Store.
they are the exact same price, you know? And I actually filled out a survey the other day from, I think it was from Nintendo, because they sent out surveys all the time, apparently. And they were like, what would make you, pay less for a game or something? Or what would make you buy a digital game instead of a physical? And one of the things on there is if it costed less. And I'm like, yes, if it actually cost me less, I would be willing to do it. I mean, a Switch case is a waste anyways. The thing is that big. It's a fucking memory card, basically. An SD card, I should say, in a big old plastic case that's completely empty. You know, that's a waste. So it would be great if it did that. I just feel like for this, I think we might be a little early from when it can really catch on. You know, it was a while before Kindles and stuff like that really took off.
It's true.
And that's why a lot of authors for a long time were like, oh, it's a fad, I'm not going to worry about it. And then all of a sudden the independent publishing authors came out of nowhere. With this, I feel like this was something that Microsoft, I remember hearing that they were trying to kind of do this originally back when the Xbox One was an online only system, and then they kind of went back on that. I totally applaud them. If they believe this is the future, that's awesome. Go for it. Try and make it happen. The big concern I have is in this country, we still have a lot of areas that have terrible internet connections.
Yes.
And if you are requiring people to log in with their system, connect to the internet, and download something, for some people, that will take an entire day to do it. And that's if it doesn't get interrupted. You know, there are people who do not have reliable internet connections, and that's not a knock on Microsoft or anything like that.
No, that's our shitty infrastructure.
Exactly. As a
country.
That's a problem that our country has that we need to do a better job at, because the entire world is this. The entire world is digital nowadays. They need to do a better job of catching us up.
Well, I know in weeks past, way back, we talked about how Google is streaming. And again, it seems like a great idea as long as you have the internet to support that.
Exactly.
To just stream video games from, any location you want to, basically any device with a Chrome browser. And I know they're coming out with they're doing a release of sorts talk in the upcoming weeks or months. So be excited to see what they do with that. But yeah, same exact holdup is theirs is even more pinned on that. Like, if you really don't have a network, you're just screwed on that. Yeah. But for this, I agree. Like, I die when I'm watching my downloads like 2 hours. Like, I don't want to wait 2 hours.
Remember Red Dead?
Red Dead was brutal.
And you're sitting there like, I was like, hey,
I bought the games. It shouldn't take another.
Right? I said to my wife, I'm like, you want to watch something? Because we got an hour. So let's watch something.
I bought the game. I don't need an hour patch on top of this so it can all figure its shit out. Right? I just want to play the game that's on disc.
But I think with this though, if Microsoft or whoever, it's been a while since I've had an Xbox. If they can honestly tell me the console itself is going to be cheaper and your games are going to be cheaper, I would do it.
Well, I think it's the combo of the Game Pass that they're putting.
I was gonna say, is this to market the Game Pass more?
Which has been wildly successful. It's the right now I think it's $1 a month, but the normal price is $15 a month, and you get to play the games. Basically, it's as of release date, it's available. The catalog is.
But you don't own any of them.
Correct. If you want to buy them, you do get a discount though. If you buy it from while you're playing it, and you're like, I really love this game, I want to buy it. It's 20% off, up to 20% off when you buy it, and then 10% any DLCs or add-ons.
Yeah. It's a very interesting idea.
I think it's been great. They've absolutely rolled in money because of that. I think it's a great idea, and I think that in combination with this discless release, that is everything's aligning for them. It's all working out,
Well, it's funny because they tried to be like the innovators last time, and they got a lot of shit for it. And they're like, fine, we'll just do what Sony's doing. Yeah. And now they're like, we're back. We're going to try and innovate again.
I'm cool with it.
And this time it seems like people are like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just that we're ready for it now. I mean, there's consoles in the past that completely flopped because they were too ahead of their time.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting. I do. And I actually think that in this case, you might be able to get somebody like me who's a collector to be like, man, I really loved Last of Us 2 when I, bought it digitally. I'm going to buy it, and I'm going to buy another copy of it. I'm going to buy a physical copy. And I've actually done that before where I've bought another copy. I have 2 copies of The Last of Us because I have a PlayStation 3 one, which I wouldn't return or sell because it was the original one I bought.
Yep.
And then I bought a PlayStation 4 one because, well, it was out. So I might
Why
as well.
not?
It was a good game, right? So
Especially when you
let's go
get
for it.
Game of the Year versions.
Yeah, very true.
Oh, yeah. That's super true, actually. But yeah, no, I'm intrigued by the prospects of Xbox moving forward with this discless approach. I think that this is going to very much be a measuring stick for the full platform update when we see that next gen hit. If
I agree. This is testing the water.
Yeah, I think the question is, if this does well, are we going to see the next gen will release with disc, but maybe there will be that optional console maybe
like
3 months later,
like the PS Pro, like that next
that 1.5 step.
Yeah, where it's like, hey, this is the
I think we'll
more
see it
improved
sooner.
version, discless.
I think
Or
we'll
you
see
can
it
come
sooner.
out with 2
Discless.
at the same time.
A dual release.
You can buy the one for $300 with no disc. You can buy the one for $400 that's got disc in it. I mean, you look at these laptops now, and nobody has disc. You have to buy something separately.
Yeah,
to put
mine
in.
doesn't have a disc drive.
No disc drives anymore.
Yeah, exactly. They're gone. So that's a whole extra thing. I think that could be a cool little thing to do. Give people the option. Let them have both.
How soon do you think it is until we do get to discless video game or discless gaming? I'll say because I do think we get there. I think eventually.
Now. Oh, you mean like 100%?
No, like 100%. No physical copies.
I don't know about that. I don't know if we're ever gonna get there.
I think eventually we will. I don't think it's anytime soon, but eventually in our lifetime, I feel like we'll get to a place where it's all in the cloud.
People still make cassette tapes.
People make cassette tape. They still make fucking full vinyls.
Yeah.
And vinyls have made that weird
popular,
comeback, yeah.
But like cassettes, which are
not popular.
Which are not popular.
It might be like
they still make them.
A vintage nostalgia thing, but like practicality, I feel like eventually we're going to get to
I
an
just
all
feel
digital.
like if we're still making shit that nobody wants, we're going to still make physical games. And it might be a nostalgia thing, maybe. It might be a collector thing, but we'll still make them.
Like, hey, let's sell it as nostalgia so we can charge more.
I do feel like this current, or this, whatever the next generation is, we'll still have discs.
Yeah.
The next one, I think, is when we might kind of move away from that.
It's not the PS5, the PS6.
Exactly.
There's a chance. And just for nostalgia's sake, it doesn't always work, as they found out with the PlayStation Classic. Absolutely.
They gotta just stop trying
bombed.
that shit, because that stuff's just never working.
Nintendo caught the edge of the market, and then Nintendo was like, we nailed that, guys. High fives all around. Sony's like, oh man, they're making so much money off their nostalgia. Let's try putting our games out. And they're like, oh shit, our games fucking suck. No one wants this. And they just ate a big L on that one.
Yeah, just doesn't work. What was that one console that Reddit got really excited about, and then it was super shitty? It was supposed to be able to play like all those old games, and it was just it just failed miserably.
I can't remember the name of it, but yeah,
like Uva or something like that.
Yeah, it was OYUVA or something. There were a bunch of vowels in there.
Just shit like that. We don't need it. Just stop. Just stop.
Maybe that was ahead of its generation.
It could have been. It could have been.
Yeah, no, I'm not even gonna try typing that in Google. Get some weird results.
Yeah,
no, you just stop there.
O.
Yep, just stop them there.
What do we got?
Any final thoughts on this upcoming generation of gaming, discless? Do you think that Microsoft's doing the right thing here, trying to beat everybody else to the table at this?
Why? Like,
test the water.
The reason why I say why not is because we talked about so much how they're losing the console war right now.
Not in quotes. They are losing.
They're losing. Why not? Like, this is their swing for the fences. This is their big risk. Go ahead and take it, because if it pays off, it pays off.
I don't think it's a big risk. I really think this is them saying, why the hell not? I mean, everybody has 3 versions of their same console right now. Let's come out with another one. Let's see if this is something that works. We'll see how the market responds to it. And this is just a way to have market research and get paid.
That's true.
I was going to ask you, any Anthem update? You liking the game any better?
I'm still playing it.
Less crashes? Because I heard some interesting stories this week about
return yours?
Anthem. No, I still got it. I haven't opened it or put it in my system.
Well, if you haven't opened it,
because I've been hearing stories about So far, it's only one type of PlayStation, so I don't know.
It hasn't
no one knows
bricked anything.
That's the question.
It did not brick. It forced a re-indexing of the system, which is still not good. It still is not something that should be done from a video game. Like, that shouldn't happen, but it did happen. So, not bricked, re-indexed. The hype around it was crazy for literally no reason, unsubstantiated rumors, but the damage was done. They're still eating fucking crow on that shit. So, it's not a bad game. It's not
Are you playing
delivering.
it a lot?
I'm playing it on and off still, yeah.
Okay.
It's not delivering on the level that they had sold us on and we'd all hoped for, and we all knew it was gonna disappoint us.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly on that.
No surprises.
I'm at
Did
the
it?
okay level.
Did we though?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
How many times did we talk about it?
We
on
talked
this
about it in
podcast,
beta.
how
We
it was
talked
gonna
about
be bad?
alpha.
Yeah, but I thought we were like hyped about it, not like, oh my god, this is gonna be the worst
I was
release ever.
I was
It's not
hyped
the
about it,
worst
but I
release
knew
ever.
it
That's Fallout.
wouldn't be able to live
That's
up.
true.
Yeah, seriously, I've never seen a game go on discount so quickly.
Yeah, the other day I was buying groceries and they're like, "Oh, you bought bread? Here's a free copy of Fallout 76." It was weird.
Yikes!
Need to prepare for that apocalypse here.
Have fun.
No, it's still going.
Oh, you got a free copy of Fallout 76. Here's a free copy of Fallout 76.
Buy one, get
Take
one.
a third one.
Yeah, no.
We got them to spare.
Still haven't played it yet, though. You know,
No.
I got 4 of them sitting in my house.
And on that note, that'll do it for episode 35 of Too Old to Game. Thank you so much for joining us, so much for listening. If you want to support us, check us out on iTunes, check us out on Patreon, and leave a comment down below. We love reading them. We love talking back and forth with you guys, continuing that conversation at the next level. We'll see you next time.